Welcome back to the Men and Prophets podcast, everyone.
Yeah,
we are here, guys. We got your special, we got your favorite regular member back here by popular request, Rylan McMullen.
Wait, what, one person?
And we have this random guy that showed up today. Got our special guest.
They just kind of walked into my apartment, and I couldn't really say no. There was three people. I didn't stand a chance, so forced to do this podcast for an hour.
Who are you?
Do you mean 3 people plus one dog?
Oh, and the dog.
And the dog.
And the dog is the reason I let them. I'm Jordan Wilson. I'm a good friend of all 3 of them, and I have respected the podcast for a while, so I'm flattered for the opportunity to talk with them.
Nice.
How do you feel about your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Okay, I am not necessarily religious, but we'll get there. I still believe in some of their views, and I'm excited to talk about it. I feel like I might have a lot to add, and if not, then they can kick me off.
No worries. It's always nice to have an active person.
What?
I said,
so guys, as this comes out, this is going to come out the 29th? Yeah, this is going to come out the 29th. Yeah, we do. Yeah, there's one coming out tomorrow.
So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Well, late Christmas, I guess.
Merry Christmas.
But anyways, this is...
Hope you had a good Christmas.
This is sort of the Christmas special.
No, I hope you...
Oh, thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, I hope you...
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Whoever wanted him back, we're gonna have to ban you.
People
from the
demanded him. People said they would not continue watching the podcast unless he was back. This is correct.
Yes.
Wow, I stand a chance.
Well, no,
okay.
sort of.
Maybe I'll be a regular then.
Oh, Brad said I show up where and when. So a special announcement. If you follow our Instagram, which you should follow our Instagram at Men and Prophets, there is Discord that we have created.
Yes.
We have created the Men and Prophets Discord. It is in the link.
Pretty cool.
It is in the link.
Oh,
in our Instagram bio.
Actually, I haven't joined yet.
Oh.
He can show you how to join.
Yeah. So here I am on my account. You don't need to follow me, but I think it is
Shameless
Men
plug,
and
TBH.
Follow me at...
So all you have to do is Men and Prophets right over there. You probably can't see it. You just click there, and look at that. I'm gonna follow their Instagram. Wow,
okay.
I'm a fake fan.
Wow, you fake fan.
And
then you click the link in the bio. Oh my gosh, guys, I got a notification. Jordan Wilson started following you.
If you click the links and then click on the Discord server, it'll just pop up for you. No hassle. You could accept the invite. And there we are. And now you can join one of the coolest Discords you probably can join.
Figure it out.
Nice.
Just log out of it and try logging back.
Yeah. So we got that Discord.
Thank you, Jordan.
Keep in there for updates. It'll notify you when new videos are uploaded every Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And
we'll try to do community events. Maybe we can do Bible studies, fellowships, whatever we can do.
Benicio's typing in tongues.
For sure.
Any questions that you guys have, you guys can come and talk to us. So
Benicio's typing in tongues.
yeah, also, if you have any questions or whatever, we could either answer in DMs or just in the channel or also on the podcast.
Yeah.
If you want us to talk about them on the podcast.
Yep. Yeah, if you have series ideas or suggestions.
Yes.
That's what that's there for. But let's go into review over the last episode really quick. So we talked about how men in the Bible were created to be spiritual and social leaders. Oh my goodness, what has happened? What just happened?
Please continue, Ben.
Go back to what you're saying.
Please continue.
Okay. And we see in Genesis in the last episode how we talked about men were created to be spiritual, or men were created as spiritual and social leaders. And we also tell us that Genesis tells us that male leadership is not supernatural but natural. And then that was kind of our last episode. We went to that. We went to areas of what we were assigned to and what God tasked us with, which is overall obeying His will. But we can start moving into this episode, which is the authentic manhood definition, part 1.
No way.
Part 1.
Part 1.
Uno.
All right. That's so stupid. Anyways.
So we have 3 areas of responsibilities. I'll read the first one really quick. God gave man a will to obey. So, I mean, what do we see in that? I mean, just like, yeah.
Why don't you lead us off,
I
Ben?
don't feel like I'm in the right. Oh, this is.
Yeah, Ben, why don't you lead us off?
Is this it?
Yeah, okay. So, one thing that kind of will help you understand, a man is put under God, right? A man is put, like I just said in the review, spiritual and social leaders of the world, but that man is under God, and he has his God's will to obey. So the man is never truly actually the leader because he's just obeying God's will. That's kind of how I like to look at it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, but yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on that. It's pretty.
I mean, yeah, it's
It's
pretty.
pretty simple.
Yeah,
It's understandable.
nice.
Blake, you want to read the second one?
Sure. The second responsibility is God gave man a job and work to do.
But I don't have a job.
Also
yet.
simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all men need to work, like most of us do nowadays,
Yes, we do.
except for people who collect unemployment.
Yeah.
Just inherited
I don't,
money.
I don't click. I don't play.
No, I know, I know.
I just don't work right now.
Yeah, people who are
In
under.
between jobs, I'm waiting for an email back. Okay,
Yeah,
guys?
people
Okay?
who are unemployed.
Just waiting for it. I'm waiting for an email back. I'm not a bum. I promise. I'm not a bum.
Rylan's working hard, just like all of us.
Yeah, well, obviously,
Get hard for the money.
a baby is not a man, but babies don't need to work.
Yeah, that's why it says man and not
Babies are
boy.
Yeah,
babies.
because they'll grow up and begin to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yes.
And then our third one, I'll read really quick, and then we can, or unless Rylan, you want to read it really quick?
Oh, let me pull it up again. God gave man a woman to love. Can I read this part too?
I can get that one if you want.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, so I mean, we just obviously see these are just really simple points. We don't need to talk about these too much. But a problem that I see, this is a statistic. The number one fear of middle schoolers is that the dad is going to leave mom. This has resulted in teen crime going up by 600%. And this ties into this topic. God gave man and woman to love, because that's not a suggestion. That is a command almost. Not saying that you have to get married, you have to pick a woman to love, but when you do choose that woman to love, you have to stick with that woman to love.
Yeah.
And this just, we see in our society where we are, how far we've gone from that, because this statistic right here, the kids are afraid that the dad is going to leave, and this has severe consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens when we abandon our job and what we're supposed to do. And that's just a side effect.
Even if they don't, it's always like the thought of, your parents like fighting or whatever, and possibly like that they're going to leave each other. It's just like a big thing, especially that early in life.
Yeah, it's cultural for sure.
I'm agreeing that it is pretty disappointing that we've gotten to that point, and that, like, just in general, that, like, that could easily be broken, that, like, people are just, splitting up because, not necessarily because they feel like it, but you get what I mean, that they
Just
choose to
because
do that.
They feel like that's
just
what they
because
have
they're
to
like
do.
They,
not trying.
yeah,
hard
they
enough.
had everything, the woman they loved, they had everything they needed, and they just gave up on it in a sense.
Yeah.
Family therapy.
That should not be an expectation, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely believe it's a cultural thing above anything else. I mean, I think just as a culture, we've shifted completely from the idea of like the family to just a very like hyper individualistic kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more of a self-centered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
taking to your
focused on
own
what like
satisfaction.
how can we
Yeah.
push our own desires above everyone else's, where in past cultures it has been focusing on more of a group society, and more how can we push the desires of others and the needs of others.
Yeah.
And not to say that everyone else's culture before us was perfect and we're failures. Obviously there's different wrongdoings and falling shorts for each individual thing, but that's just our problem and our issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's that is that Benicio just texted me. Do you guys want to read the next thing really quick?
Yeah. It just says two masculine identities seen in the Bible.
Yeah. So just keep reading from that.
Oh, the Bible has given us two examples for man for humanity. First, we have Adam from Genesis, our earthly example that yielded to passivity and suffered the consequences. Secondly, we have Adam from the gospel, Jesus, who is our heavenly example.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just like our two kind of people that would be going off of, mainly in this episode, is Jesus and Adam. The differences between them, how one failed to fulfill his role and how one succeeded.
Like another person that we could look up to from the Bible is Abraham, right? Who was told to kill his one and only son.
Yeah.
And it's like that after, what was it? How long was it before he had Isaac?
I don't know.
It was like 200 years, right? Yeah. It was just a long time that he couldn't have a kid, and then he finally was able to have a kid, and the Lord told him, go sacrifice your child. And he listened to the Lord.
Yeah.
But the Lord provided his own sacrifice instead. So he was not kill Isaac.
Yeah. There's plenty of like masculine role models that we can look up to in the Bible. I think we're using these two in this particular sense because it's like the stark difference, because Jesus is obviously the example of the perfect man that we want to strive to become. Not saying that we're going to be perfect, but and then Adam we see as the example of just a human man who falls short. So if we want to move into that, we see conventional manhood, which is Adam. We have a couple points there. If you want to go over that first one.
Sure. Right here, since I have my phone. It is a manhood based on personal instinct and human reason.
I mean, yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's pretty.
I don't know, your icons in the way of oh, there it goes. Oops. Sorry.
I feel like that's just pretty much listening to common sense. Right?
This is supposed to be so for this one, I think these are supposed to be reasons why conventional manhood, Adam, is not good.
There was sin, first off. I feel like that's the biggest thing, was sin for conventional. Jesus never sinned.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference between the two.
And then but based off this point, where it says that conventional manhood is a manhood based on personal instinct and human reason. What's flawed with that? I was going to sneeze.
Personal instinct, I feel like, is the big highlight for me. Because if it's personal instinct, you might be doing it for self-gain and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing it for your flesh, not your...
The selfishness behind it is kind of...
Yeah. And by flesh, we mean desires from...
the world.
Yeah. And the world, we mean the world. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, anything that's based off...
Basically just obviously basing everything off your wants.
Yeah, I mean, we have a sinful nature. We're sinful in desire, and if we base what we do off of our own instinct and our own conclusions, then obviously that will be some of that sinful nature and desires and wants will be tied in with that. No matter how hard we try, it'll always tie into that, and we'll kind of go to the when we look over the points that Jesus brings, how he reverses all these points, it'll show us how we're supposed to be. So the second point, it's a manhood that draws life from others.
Instead of just saying happiness?
I mean,
as in life?
I think it's still just kind of on the same lines of selfishness.
Yeah.
It definitely... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
To me, that line reads, draws life from others. That's just you're taking... Oh, yeah, selfishness. You're taking away from others to benefit yourself, and that's not... That's completely wrong, I believe.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I guess the first one's more changing decisions by yourself for yourself, and then the second one's changing decisions by others for yourself.
Yeah. I think the first one goes more along the lines of whose will are you obeying? Are you obeying your will, or are you obeying God's will? And then the second one is obviously what we're talking about. You can't lift up the needs of others if all you do is lift up the needs of yourself. if all you're focused on is yourself, obviously you're gonna have no time, nothing for anyone else, because it is a eternal or black hole. Basically, is your desire.
Yeah.
It'll never be satisfied.
I think the specific line of draw life is what like scares me, because it seems like you're just literally just taking away from the others around you, and you can't benefit yourself because you're only trying to benefit yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, it's just a lot of what today is. It's just everybody, like, you get cut off in traffic. That's someone else, putting themselves before you, quite literally.
Yeah. Literally.
Oh,
But it's just no one has any regard for anybody else, it seems, anymore.
No, I keep trying to mention that word that my sister wanted tattooed on herself. There was like, there's a word that's just the acknowledgement that everyone else has a life that's like complete and as full as yours, but it's separate. Like they're living a whole other story. I don't know what it is, but it's just like the thought of recognizing that and like just respecting it.
Sometimes I feel like it's hard for people to even just wrap their brains around the fact that other people have lives.
Yeah.
It's because it's like you live yours, and like sometimes you just get so caught up in your own that like you kind of forget that other people are also doing their own thing. Like it's just kind of.
I'm in the Truman Show.
What?
no, it's just, I get that.
Everybody over 80 will understand that joke.
It's
What are you talking about? It's an amazing movie.
It is an amazing movie, but it's like the day old expression, the old one, put yourself in other people's shoes. But it's true. If you're going to say something rude or selfish or do something that benefits yourself, you have to realize that like you don't know what other people are going for. You don't know their stories. Maybe they have a good life, maybe they don't, and it's just wrong to take it out on them.
Treat everybody with respect.
Everyone with respect.
Still a piece of crap, then still treat them with respect.
If you just treat everyone with respect, you'll feel the respect yourself. You'll feel good.
Yeah.
And not because you're benefiting yourself, but because, you're not benefiting yourself, you're benefiting others. And
Yeah.
it's a big move, but it changes your life.
Yeah. And the hardest part about that is like trying to be able to respect people that are not respectful to you back. Cause it's obvious. It's obvious in this life. The answer seems to be like, if someone is angry or mad at you, you should be angry or mad at them to get things straight or whatever, to like just combat angry with angry. But sometimes it's better to just either leave it alone or, try to be nice to them.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Trying to be nice, and if they don't accept it, it's fine to just walk away, ignore it.
Yeah.
Tying that back into the first one, how you were talking about that, when we obey our will and we obey our reason, putting yourself first becomes the rule instead of the exception. But when we obey God's will, putting other people first becomes the rule. And putting yourself first becomes the exception.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that first one's so important, because I think it bases off and stretches out into the other two, or at least into this one.
Yeah. Want me to read the third one?
Sure.
It's a manhood without transcendent meaning. Ben, explain that?
So, I mean, it's just basically like, that just means that it's whatever you define it as. Almost. There's no.
Oh, like there's one strict definition to like manhood.
Well, let's just look up exactly what transcendent means.
I think that's later to be talked about, so I don't know, because whatever. Sorry.
Transcendent?
Yeah, because this is that one.
Superior to our going beyond the usual.
Yeah, it's changing colors.
Is it changing hues?
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Could you explain what transcendent meaning means?
Superior to or going beyond the usual. So there's no like going above and beyond to like
there's no extra credit, pretty much.
That, and then there's also no like higher kind of goal almost. I mean, like we see Jesus, that's a higher goal.
Yeah.
That is the goal.
Yeah. So.
No, I totally get that. Even if I'm to take this to a more literal meaning, just having goals in life and wanting to strive for better is just a part of life. Like if you're not doing that, if you're not setting goals for yourself, I feel like you aren't necessarily failing as a person, but you could be doing better. I want to move up somewhere, and taken from your guys' point of view, making it to like Jesus is the highest goal. Slowly getting there and wanting to get us close to there is a really good goal, and it gives transcendent meaning, and that's really nice.
I think
Yeah.
it kind of ties back into the first point we brought up was, or the second one, like God gave man a job and work. Like we need to work towards his, just like to be like him. It's like that's kind of our main goal, is to just spread the gospel and just bring people to Jesus. That's like the main goal, job, work that the Lord has gave us. We want to tie it all back together.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to authentic manhood, which would be Jesus?
Sure.
Counter of these points.
Yeah.
Rylan, do you want to read the first one?
Oh, let me pull it up here.
I'm currently pulling it up.
I got the verse.
He wasn't. Wait,
His was a manhood.
yeah. His was a manhood that yielded to revelation.
So countering that first point where Adam's manhood, conventional manhood, was something that was based off personal instinct and human reason. Jesus was a manhood that was based off of revelation. We see in Matthew 26:39, this verse that talks about Jesus. He says, or it says, going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." So for a little backstory on this verse, I'm not sure exactly where Jesus was. I'm pretty sure he was like outside of Jerusalem or something. And this is when he knew that he was going to be arrested and put on the cross and killed. And obviously, as a human, he didn't want that. Who would want that?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to look at that because we see that Jesus wasn't. He didn't want to do that. Obviously, sometimes we can get like confused and think that, oh yeah, he wanted to do that because he wanted to save us, but he didn't. He wanted to save us, but he didn't want to have to do that. So that's why he prayed. He said, "Father, let this cup be taken from me, or let this cup pass from me." He didn't want to have to go through that. But then he finished with, "Yet not as I will, but as you will." He has his own personal instinct and his own human reason. But above all else, he yields to revelation. He yields to what God tells him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what that point is going over.
Because he was 100% human at the same time as he was 100% God.
Yeah.
So, like bringing back to like the 40 days in the desert, he was tempted for 40 days with no food. No person can survive that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, he just, I don't know, that's kind of where my mind went with it. It's like he was still 100% human. He suffered like we did, but at the same time, he still managed to live a perfect life, but suffered the consequences of an imperfect life.
Mm-hmm. It's easier to not yield to revelation, but it's
easier to act on our own.
Yeah, for sure.
Understanding. The second one, it was a manhood that empowered others. And the example from the Bible that I used was when Jesus sent out the 12. When he told them to go and to preach and to heal and to drive out demons and all that. We see just him just encouraging and giving that. This is the counter to stealing or drawing life from others. In his life, he gave life to others. He put their needs before his.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
it kind of goes with our other points that like he's not taking from others for benefit. He's trying to benefit others just so they have an easier life, and there's no gain. He doesn't have to tell anyone. It's just he wants to help others and give them the opposite of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Jesus was a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Blake, you want to read the last one really quick?
Yeah. His was a manhood full of transcendent meaning. Oh, yeah. So it was like the opposite of Adam.
Which is why I mentioned earlier they should, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
All right. There are 4 components of authentic manhood. And in this episode, we're only going to be going over the first one. We'll cover the remaining 3 in the next one.
Oh, okay.
But the first one is to reject passivity. While the first Adam fell into passivity, Christ rejected passivity. We see in Genesis 3:6.
Do you want me to pull up the verse?
I got it.
Oh, okay, Ben's got it.
I got it. When the woman saw the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. So, for context in this story, this was in the beginning. We know that God told Adam and Eve that they can eat of any fruit in the garden except for the fruit of the tree of life. And he said, "For they will surely die." And the serpent, the devil, came along, tempted them to eat that. And Adam, this whole time, sat there and did nothing. The serpent was talking to Eve, telling her that, "Oh, if she can eat it, you will not surely die." God lied to you, basically. And Adam, instead of just saying something like, "No, that's not true. We know what God told us," he sat back, did nothing. Eve took a bite and then gave it to him, and he took a bite. That is passivity to the fullest. Not standing up for what you need to stand up for.
Yeah.
Not conforming to what is.
He conformed to the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's obviously like, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Do you guys have anything else on that?
I don't believe so.
I mean, I don't know. I'm basically just gonna said what you said, but yeah, I feel like it just in life that the more you choose to just be passive and be like, "Oh yeah, that's okay," like, "Oh yeah, you can do that," the others will slowly fall and slip away from you. And in this case, it was to the devil, and in many cases, it may be that, it may be other reasons. But I feel like if at the very least you like in that story it said, "No, don't be tempted," and the devil's tempting you and whatnot, maybe the story could be different from them or something like that. And I feel like in many examples in life, if you try and step in and help your friends, your loved ones, then it could change their lives and stop them going down a worse path in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as it's selfless, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Blake, you want to read that next one?
Yeah. As sociologist Stephen Clark took a look back at humanity, he stated, "For whatever reason, men have a natural tendency to avoid social responsibility."
Yeah. Where my heart instantly goes to in that is right now there's this link that I have in the notes. If you guys want to click it.
Oh, yeah.
It is a
Insert clip here.
yeah.
What?
It's
More something to do.
Shut up.
it's just some statistics. It says right here, across America, 2022 data indicates there are approximately 18.3 million children who live without a father in the home, comprising about 1 in 4 U.S. children. 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers. Children from single-parent families are twice as likely to suffer from mental health and behavioral problems as those with married parents. 70% of youth in state-operated facilities were from single-parent homes. Children with an actively engaged father perform much better in school. They are 33% less likely to repeat a class and 43% more likely to get A's in school. And finally, in a study of 56 school shootings and only 10 of the shooters, 18% were raised in a stable home with both biological parents. 82% grew up either in an unstable family environment or grew up without both biological parents together. Huge.
Dang. Yeah,
And
huge
most
numbers.
of that stems from the father.
Yeah.
Almost all of it stems from the father.
But we have one stable father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anybody
I
else see
think
the text from Benicio just now?
No.
It kind of points off to the beginning of what we said, how if that we're supposed to love one woman. I don't remember the exact verse. I apologize, but that kind of relates to that. By disobeying that, you cause catastrophe to not only yourself, but if you have kids in the future, it can very much ruin their lives and whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you're not committing to that, if you're not like being honest to yourself and going for self-worth and whatnot, I feel like that the statistics show it's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're being selfish and you're affecting other people. It's not just, it's benefiting me, it's affecting other people too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What Blake read before that, for whatever reason, men have a natural tendency to avoid social responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just we see that very clearly here.
Yeah.
And that is in a lot of different things, and that is passivity. That's what we define as passivity. And that's why we think that real men reject, or real men in the Bible reject, social and spiritual passivity. So yeah, I mean, we see the consequences. It's destructive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easy to leave because it's like, I mean, not easy to leave. Sorry. It's easy to leave like financially or whatever, because you don't have to pay for those extra things that obviously were put into your life or whatever. But, it's obviously hard to leave when, you take into account that it's like either the kids that you've had in your life or what, God put them there for you to take care of, and then you left them. Obviously, you're going to have repercussions, and the people that you left are going to have repercussions.
Yeah. It's just like how, like, if you're fighting, I'm not saying that I'm not comparing life to, I mean, yeah. Okay. Sorry. If you're fighting in a war, sorry. My brain.
Huh?
If you're fighting in a war and someone above you tells you to hold this post, you have to hold this line, whatever. And you up and leave, what's going to happen? The enemy is going to take that line, and then they're probably going to catch all your fellow friends and whatever off guard from a different angle that they're not expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it works in the family. If you don't hold up your post and you don't hold up what you're supposed to do, the people close to you are just going to be ravaged by it.
So in that case, would you say passivity and all this is cowardice?
I'd say it's pretty closely related.
I don't really have anything to go with that. Which is
Yeah. And then we just have our 2 questions to finish.
Yeah. I'll read the first one.
Okay.
Now that you've had time since the last episode to think about your call to be a social and spiritual leader, what conclusions have you come to regarding how you are fulfilling that role?
So this is just kind of for your small groups. We can answer this really quick if we want.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, Blake? Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I agree, Blake.
I mean, it obviously just makes you realize that you have a bunch more responsibilities, obviously, that either you just haven't paid attention to or have like popped up or whatever in your life that you have to take care of.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I mean, I guess this doesn't really answer the question. I guess it's just like I've always seen that you guys like take the podcast very seriously, and that like that you do. I've seen the responsibilities and how much you want to take care of it, and that's why I've always like. I'm not watching every single podcast episode and whatnot, but I've always respected it because it's really important to you guys, and it's really just important in general to continue having those responsibilities and being a spiritual leader and whatnot, and that's really impressive.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, to be a social and spiritual leader, I feel like in most instances, if not all, you have to be kind of serious at what you do and make sure that what you're doing is in line with God's word.
Into what's going on around you.
Because I don't know, because it says the leaders of this world. I mean, when the Bible says the leaders of like pastors, the leaders of the church, just people who have influence of like, Christianity, like people that podcast, they will be judged twice as hard when it comes to Judgment Day. So you do have to be very careful with what you say that is right, and you've thought it through and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And I think the reasoning behind that is because when somebody does have influence and they influence other people
The wrong way.
if you influence them the wrong way, then you're taking them down with you, kind of thing, or not fully
Deceiving people.
Yeah, but
on purpose, even if it's not on purpose, you have to be able to distinguish right from wrong.
Yeah, it's just obvious in like any situation. If you're the leader wherever, like in your job, if you're like a higher up to some people and you manage, supervise, whatever, the people below you, you always have to take in more things seriously, because you just have to realize that like the people that you are teaching are at the position that you once were or are. So you have to like help them how people helped you.
Yeah. And this role can be in many different things. The main thing that I see it in is definitely in the family. Because that's where, as a man, you'll have the most impact and the most influence. That's where anyone will have the most impact and influence, is in their own family. The people closest to them. But obviously, it stretches further than that. In bigger roles or smaller roles, whatever it is. But we can move on to the next question unless you guys have something else.
Is this the last of it?
It's the last question, yeah.
This is The Last of Us.
When have you seen passivity in your own life? Oh, were you going to say something?
Oh, nothing. Blake made a dumb joke. I commented.
Okay. When have you seen passivity in your own life, and are there any areas where you are currently struggling with passivity?
Hold on, I'm looking at the definition of passivity.
It's what we were.
We talk about it.
Yeah, we were talking about how it's just like relenting to your desires rather than upholding them, and choosing to not doing anything rather than to take action.
Right.
Some of the ways is like we talked about this in like an earlier episode a long time ago. It was like how I get caught up with wanting to. I'm super involved in my own church, and it takes up a lot of my time, and it takes up time where I can't hang out with my friends, and it's just the struggle of wanting to go hang out with my friends instead of going to doing church stuff it's hard, but it's gotten easier once. The more you get involved and the more like you mature in your walk, it does get easier to prioritize church and church stuff over other things, I guess.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's kind of like I don't want to say work-life balance, but it's kind of like a church-life balance, and what you need to equalize that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you do need to prioritize church over.
Of course. I'm just.
No, but I get what you mean. You I get.
Yeah. It's kind of, so passivity is kind of like what? I mean, it's
We've
like,
been talking about this whole episode.
yeah, no, I know, but it's kind of like, I'm just putting it in an example of something easier. Like, it's kind of accepting what happens without acting on it. Just like letting different things happen.
So what I said with Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
instead of acting and saying, no, you shouldn't do that,
Yeah. Or
let her do it.
yeah, he just let her do it because she said,
It's the serpent
It looked
deceived
cool.
yeah. I can't think of any instances.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like plenty, but this is kind of more of like a personal thing for you guys' own lives, that you can reflect on. If you guys are doing this in a group or whatever, this is something, or just on your own, just reflect on this, just see in your own life, where am I struggling with this? And that hopefully will help you. 'Cause if you identify the problem, then you can move to eliminate it. So
Yeah.
that is all.
Sweet.
Okay,
Sweet.
before we close,
Don't pray.
church episode. Not church, Christmas episode. Every episode's a church episode, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
We gotta bring a little bit of Christmas into
We
this.
do have to bring a little bit of Christmas in this.
What
Yeah, we
does
do have
the
to bring
birth
a-
of Jesus mean to you?
It means giving
What do you
us
think?
the best spiritual leader that there is.
Okay.
That, I mean, what my mind kind of goes to is that I don't need worldly things to be a spiritual leader. I mean, you don't need, I'm not saying that I'm trying to be like a spiritual leader, but like, wait, that just completely countered exactly what I just, sorry.
What?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Currently holding on?
Wait a minute.
Jesus had a very humble beginning.
Oh, man, right.
Only until
He was born in a manger, right?
Mhm.
Very humble.
Mhm.
Didn't have any whatever. I always think that I need this, that, and the other. So that's what I think. Is that.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything?
Also,
I guess to me, like personally, like from what I have learned and have been following, it just serves as, I don't want to say, well, no, yeah, it is. It's example. It's kind of like it's the start of, I don't want to say learning how to be the perfect spiritual leader, but in a sense, that's kind of what it is. Your guys' goal is to meet Jesus in a sense. So the birth of Jesus is kind of like a, I don't want to say turning point, but yeah,
Like
turning
a stature, like someone that you look up to, I
Right.
guess.
It's
Yeah.
kind
At
of
all
like the
times.
start of, oh, this is it. This is what the goal is. It's
Yeah.
the start of progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it as like a mix of all that. One, it's like the Lord of everything was born in a barn.
Yeah.
And like the like it that and it's like kind of tying it into this episode. It's the Lord put us ahead of himself almost.
Yeah.
He sent himself down to us to suffer, but still show us a example of how to live our lives, but suffer the way we should have suffered. And he, even though he didn't deserve to, he showed us like he was the ultimate example, I guess. And the ultimate sacrifice is it's like the beginning of the world, I guess.
Yeah. The
Also-
rebirth kind of just makes you realize, or just kind of gives you a reminder that everyone has a purpose, like no matter where you are.
Also, what Jordan said was very accurate on the turning point. I don't know the exact names that they have, but it's like the times that we're in right now. We're in like the in between, between the first coming of Jesus and the second coming of Jesus. The first coming was a turning point. It was a complete shift in dynamic. I've gone over this before. How, like we talked about how, like it was always prophesied that Jesus would be like a war general and a war leader. And I said this in the past episode that he was, but he just redefined the war.
It's a spiritual war, not
Yeah.
a physical war.
Yeah, and that was just a turning point.
The spiritual war is still very real. It is.
Yeah,
We fight against it every day.
Yeah,
the
that's
reason
why
we started this.
We're still on that same trajectory that he sent us on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
Do you want to pray before we close out? We forgot to pray when we opened up, but
Yeah.
okay.
Rylan?
Rylan.
Our viewer's
Please
favorite
don't.
member here?
Rylan.
Wait, guys.
She's slump.
Sorry,
She's
I
sleeping.
apologize.
All right.
Oh. All right.
Did you just thank you for letting us gather today, Lord, to just acknowledge you, Lord, and just help other people with their walks, Lord, that we have the right words to say, that this reaches somebody, Lord, that needs it, Lord, that just it touches somebody and helps them in their walk, Lord, and just that the rest of the day goes well, and give all the glory to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Nice.
Nice.
So I want to do something really quick.
Oh.